Well, hello there, YouTubers. My name's Harry, and my name's Harry Cole, and I can't believe it, it's my first ever YouTube video. Well, I've decided after a long while to do some YouTube videos for you guys, and to start combating stigma and raise awareness of autism and mental health conditions. As a young man who lives with autism and other diagnoses that I will explain throughout these videos, I want to reach out to the people out there who may need some reassurance, need some help, and I want to reach out to the people who may live with people like me. Because I tell you one thing, autism isn't an easy thing to live with, and there's many videos out there on YouTube and on many other websites that give an insight to autism, but not as many come from first-hand experience from those who live with autism. So the reason I'm doing these videos, as I just said, is to combat stigma. I do apologise about my tics, you'll see me turn my head quite a few times, but I'll again talk about that a bit later. So what I would really like to ask is, obviously this video may be slightly longer than some of them I'll be doing, but please listen to all of it so you can get the full gist and full insights of what I'm talking about. I aim to aim at something that's very insightful that hopefully you were to give you a good way of imagining autism in such ways. So like I said, my name's Harry, I'm age 19 and I live with childhood autism, tics and GAD, which stands for Generalised Anxiety Disorder. I was diagnosed with autism from the age of about 4 or 5, followed by ADHD, which I no longer have, at the age of 8, and I was also diagnosed with tics at the age of about 7. Recently I've been diagnosed with GAD, and I've recently been told I'm borderline bipolar disorder, however that's no confirmation of diagnosis. So obviously where should I start? I mean I've watched quite a few good videos on YouTube that I must admit that have been really positive. But obviously now it's my turn, so yeah, I hope you enjoy this video and I hope that you'll get a good insight, and I hope more importantly that you'll subscribe to my channel below and that you'll share the videos with your friends and families, because ultimately I want to help as many people as I can. So I hope by doing what I'm doing this will be the start. So this first video is just going to be quite a broad video for me to explain me and introduce me as a person, tell you about some of my difficulties, tell you about some of my journey through life so far, and just tell you a bit more about me. In the future weeks I'm hoping to do some more in-depth videos like this. In the next video I'm going to do is comparing my life to a washing machine, because I thought it's quite a good analogy that I can do for that one. So I shall start. So the first thing I've got on my list is, I've got a list just to help me go through the points, because obviously with my difficulties I find it quite hard to remember everything. So what do I struggle with? So as I said, I have GAD. That makes me a very, very anxious person. I also struggle with the littlest of things in day-to-day life can make me very anxious, which to most people they may find quite easy. Simple things like remembering to brush your teeth. That if I don't brush my teeth when I wake up, I will get very stressed out. Little things like that, my personal care. I have such a big routine for my personal care, and if that is not followed, it throws my day out of proportion. If I don't wake up later than I expected, I'm normally always up about 8 o'clock. If I'm up much later, I get very anxious. I also struggle with friendships and relationships. I mean, a big part of autism is the social communication and the social interaction parts of autism, which affect the way I can communicate and interact with people on a normal level. I don't like to say the word normal, because I think no one's normal in this world, but what I mean by that, on a general level, most people in the real world can interact successfully and positively. I find that very difficult. I've had a lot of problems with my friendships in the past. I've had a lot of difficulties with relationships. In fact, I've never had a serious relationship, but I'll explain more about that later. So like I said, I'm a very anxious person. I struggle with my behaviour. I'm currently in hospital, for those of you who don't know. I won't go too much about that now. I also struggle with things like dealing with my emotions, dealing with my anxieties. When I get stressed and when I get emotional, I can get very worked up, and sometimes the way I deal with that is not the best. Sorry guys, I do apologise, I'm sweating, it's so hot in this room. But other than that, there is a lot of things I struggle with, but I want to keep it quite broad at the moment. So next thing we've got on my list is defining the word normal. One of my biggest frustrations about today's world and society is that people have this perception that people like me with autism, people like me who've got mental health conditions aren't normal. Well, firstly, I strongly stand by the fact no one is normal. No one is normal in this world. And for someone to say you're not normal, I've had a lot of bullying in the past. You're not normal. You're this. You're that. You're this. Well, how do you define the word normal? How can one define the word normal? It has so many different meanings to so many different people. And unfortunately, some people will assume that anyone like me are not normal. And I think for those people who think like that, they're not nice people. But my hobbies and interests, so I'm quite an active person. I like to do a lot of sports, I like to do a lot of outdoorsy stuff. I love kayaking, I love long walks. In fact, I've done a few 30-mile sponsored walks with charity, which I've raised over £500 for. I'm also quite an enterprising person. I won a national award in 2010. I came 8th out of 30,000 people in the Matron Mark who attended a competition. Sorry about my blinking tick, guys. So I'm quite an enterprising person. I enjoy photography. I love photography. Again, photography is another way that I can express myself through, which I love. I love spending time with my family. They mean the absolute world to me. They are the best family in the world, and we can all say that about our families, which I strongly encourage, but my family is just out of the world for me. I've got a really good support network behind me. But yeah, so there are a couple of what other things do I like doing? I love camping, I love music, and music is a big part of my life. Music is probably the thing that keeps me going in life. I have a lot of things I like to listen to when I'm in different moods. So yeah, my journey through life so far. So obviously I said when I was diagnosed with my conditions, my early childhood wasn't really any different to what I was considered a genuine life. I grew up in Hampshire. I had my mum and dad. My mum and stepdad used to own their own shop, so I used to do a lot of things, and then I used to love all that. It's when I got older, probably when I was 7 or 8, when I noticed that things weren't the way that perhaps most people's were. They weren't for most people. And I think this is mainly when I realised when I started going to school and got up to year 3 in school, I noticed that I started having problems with my communication. I felt a bit distant from the rest of the guys. I never really understood my conditions at that age, so obviously I never used to be able to, understand myself that much. As I grew older and as I went through life, as soon as I was told I had these certain conditions, from a very young age, I was very wanting to know exactly what they meant. So I'd do a lot of research. I would do even from the age of 8, I'd be looking on Google and saying what is autism. So I wanted to know what I had as a person, so I could help myself better in my life. Schooling experiences for me were the hardest thing that I've had throughout my journey. I really struggled, definitely at primary school and primary school. From the year 4 I went to school. On my first day I happened to poo myself, and ever since that moment I had got extremely bullied. People used to call me things like retard or a cunt, every single name under the skin. And do you know what, just because and the only reason I poo myself was because I was so nervous. As a young kid, that used to be one of my difficulties. When I used to get nervous, I used to do certain things like that. And that was held against me for so many years. In fact, I had people who've seen me now in my hometown who know me from primary school say, "There's a kid who pooed himself." And I'm like, "Have you got nothing else better to say? Come on." Obviously I said I won my national award, but how do I describe myself? See, this is the thing. I don't see myself as that much of a positive person. But then, I have a lot of people who do tell me, I'm very fortunate to have a lot of people who do tell me that the way they would describe me is that I'm very insightful, I'm very caring, I'm very loving, and I'm very loyal. These are the words I often get told. I like to consider myself as a good friend to those people who are my friends. I like to think that I stand by my friends, the ones I do have, because I don't have many. Talking now, I probably only have 2 or 3 friends that I actually probably talk to. One of which has been a bit on and off recently, but I've only had really one good friend that I've had for 7 years now, Morgan, who I'm sure he won't mind me mentioning in this video because he's a great friend of mine, and he means a lot to me. But friendships, I think the reason I find friendships, I find friendships hard, is I think this is where my autism does come in. And as I'll talk about in my future videos, a lot more in depth about the clinical side of autism and how it affects me in friendships and social situations. The bottom line is, I feel that autism has been a bit of a barrier to me, in order to, because the way it is harder to interact with people, it's harder to understand people's emotions and understand what people's moods are in. I've always been a very insecure person, so I've lost a lot of friends in the past because I would pester them saying, "Oh, you annoyed me, are you this, have I done something wrong?" When actually I've done nothing wrong, but what I have done wrong is pestering them, saying those questions. So I suppose, as I've gone through life, I've been able to pick up on those things, and I've been able to try and deal with those best. And I don't think any of those things are ever going to go away from me in my life. But it's the way I learn to deal with them, which hopefully will improve. So challenges in my life so far. I've obviously mentioned a few, the schooling experiences. I was very fortunate to go to a brilliant secondary school, which is a special needs school for people like me. Really helped me the best out of me in my life, and I'm incredibly proud to have gone to the school I did. And they were very, very supportive. Unfortunately, towards the end of my schooling time, things in my home life and my personal life went a bit pear-shaped. And I was taken into care when I was in year 10, and I was in care system for quite a long time, lived in my own flat at one point. but that got a bit too tough for me because the support I had was reduced. So eventually that ended up me being taken to hospital, and I got detained under the Mental Health Act, which I still am today. And again, I talk about people's perception of autism and mental health. So many people think that people who are detained under mental health or who are in hospital are, should I say the word, fucked up in their heads. Well, that's not right. That's not correct. You know, I'm sure there's people out there who have equal amount of problems but find it tougher than me. You know, I'm quite lucky and fortunate to have a brilliant support network around me. And you know, just because I'm in hospital doesn't mean I'm a bad person. It just means that I need help to get to the place I want to be in life. And whether that takes 6 months, a year, or 2 years, or even longer, they will get there. Because there's a lot of people around me who have the belief in me, but more importantly, their belief gives me belief. And and that's what I really feel it keeps me going. Another big challenge in my life was obviously when my mum met my second stepdad when I was about 10. At this point, I felt ever since she's met this person, I felt this person's taken my mum away from me. From the moment I met him, I'd never really seen eye to eye with him. I think he's a great father to my siblings. I've got 2 little brothers and 1 little sister, and I don't think I could ask for a better father to them. You know, he treats them well, treats my mum well. Prior to this, mum had some relationships that weren't so good, and I say it's because of that. You know, when she got not abused, but she was doing quite nice to her. I suppose I've never been able to trust men around my mum, and when I've had a man come into my life who's taken my mum away from me, and so I found that very hard. And growing up, I think that was the start to my problems. But you know, as I said, I had the most amazing mum. I would not change her or anyone in my family for the world, and I'm so very fortunate. So a little bit more about me as well. I used to work in Argos. I used to love that. It's a brilliant time in my life. I used to do a paper round. I used to clean on a campsite for a couple of weeks. I've also volunteered for the police, which I really enjoy as well. So being in care, I mean, again, people have such a negative perception of people in care, and you know, this is why I was so desperate to get out. But now I regret rushing things as I did. You know, I have a lot of regrets in my life, and it's unfortunate that I do. But you know, I do, and I suppose as I get older, I hope to change that by living a life that I'm happy with. So what gets to me is I haven't got many more points to talk about. But what gets to me is people don't understand me, or there's less people in this world who understand me and accept me for who I am than there is people who do accept me and understand me for who I am. You know, I'm a 19-year-old lad who ultimately just wants to integrate into the real world again and live an independent and happy and successful life. I'm sure we all want that in life, but the challenges that people like me face, you know, with autism, not only the social side, not only the process, you know, the way we process things is a lot harder. You know, the way we perceive things and the way we are able to cope with the world is much different, much harder and much different. But as I keep saying in this video, it doesn't make us bad, it doesn't make us different. All it makes us is unique, and it makes us unique in good ways a lot of the time. And I want people to start realising that. I'm starting a project called HBP. You'll see on my YouTube page that I've got I'll be uploading a picture of my logo, and that'll be my channel page logo. HBP stands for Harry's Better Place, and this is the reason I'm doing this is also this video is part of a project that I'm going to be starting to give talks and presentations into local schools and organisations about autism. I've got one next week for my first one actually, and as a project I would like this to quite expand and hope to turn into a charity one day as my ultimate aim, because I want to combat stigma. I want to raise awareness of autism and mental health to ultimately improve life for people like me. And you know, and as my slogan says on my project, it's taking steps to improve stigma and awareness of autism and mental health. That is the key to what I do, and I hope by this video you've got a little bit of an insight about me. You've got a little bit of insight about how people live, how it is to live with autism. But to conclude this video, other than saying that, I really would like you to subscribe below, you know, click share on all your social media pages. We will be having some social media pages coming up soon, so we'll keep checking out for those in a couple of weeks. We're taking things slowly, as I said. But I want to finish on a note now that is a little scenario that I've come up with a little while ago, and I'm using this in my presentations, but I want you to just imagine something. I'm going to read you here just a little paragraph which will hopefully just give you a little insight to how you can imagine how it feels to live with autism. So yeah, I will. Imagine you're living in a crowded foreign city, not understanding the language spoken and only being able to comprehend a few of the words that are said. Imagine that you wanted to speak out for help but didn't know how to. Imagine feeling isolated, and finally, imagine how all of the above things would affect you. This may help you indicate how it feels to live with autism on a day-to-day basis. So that's a very short, just brief scenario, but if you take that back and you read and you listen to that again, I'm sure you'll understand that You know, living with autism is like living in a crowded city. You know, it's not, you don't understand the language spoken, you don't understand the things going around you, and you only can comprehend a few of the words that are said. So out of all the words that people say, you only can comprehend the words that sound familiar to you. And and it's like you want to speak out loud, but you just don't know how to. That just give you a bit of an insight of how to live with autism on a day-to-day basis. But viewers, I don't know how long this video has been, but however long it has been, I think it's been an absolute privilege to do this video. And I'd like to thank you all for watching, and I hope that in the next couple of weeks you'll see some more videos from me, but more importantly, I hope this will help improve the lives of people who live with the conditions like me. Thank you ever so much for watching. Goodbye.